Weather Impact Live. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta, and yeah, today we got a lot of rain out there across the first coast today, and still talking about, ooh, I didn't spell lightning strikes right. Lightning strikes. Yeah, we're talking about that a little bit, and it smells like rain. That's the big things coming up here in the forecast for the next half hour. Kind of a little lead into what we're going to be talking about here. And number one thing is over the last 24 hours, we have seen a lot of rain across southeast Georgia, northeast Florida, where we desperately, desperately need it. In fact, in the last 24 hours, there are spots here across around the Brunswick, northern areas of Nassau County, and yet even towards Brantley County that have seen 3 to even 6 inches of precipitation. These areas in the darker reds, you can kind of see on the graph on the top, or the legend at the top of the screen there, 5 to 7 inches in spot there in northern. So right along the St. Mary's River, actually about 5 to 7, Kings Bay, Fernandina Beach. But look back towards Brunswick. Actually, flood advisory still in place across a lot of those areas because of this persistent rainfall that we've seen out here over the last 24 hours. And we can just actually loop this back over a 24-hour period. And I'll put this on a nice little loop here for you. And we'll get a good idea of just, what's been happening here. And it's just been this area of low pressure just sitting offshore, and it just been kind of pumping this moisture back around on it. So you can see the general flows coming like this, but as that low developed, we started seeing that moisture kind of churn on the northern periphery of it here, and that just brought this consistent precipitation across a good portion of southeast Georgia over the last 24 hours here, and thus bringing that 5 to 7 inches. This is actually somewhat good news. I mean, to be quite frank with you, we needed this precipitation. We still have that fires out here across southeast Georgia, which all of this rain has helped out an incredible amount. But the drought conditions are, despite the fact we have 5 to 7 inches, we still had a deficit prior to this in Jacksonville at about 13 to 14 inches. So we still have a significant deficit. Maybe not in that exceptional drought anymore, but as far as the aquifers are concerned, still in a drought associated with that. And plus the same severe weather, the heavy rainfall we've seen. Actually, those storms coming in out of the Gulf even caused a tornado, an EF1, there just towards the north of Tampa. I saw some video out of there where there was some damage actually that took place there. A mobile home lost their roof, and yeah, pretty serious stuff in that area. So some rough weather over the last 24 hours here across the first coast. But the good news is, I mentioned, a lot of rainfall on some of these wildfires. And the Highway 82 fire, which burnt 22,000 acres, completely contained at this point. They're not even putting out updates as far as uh, any new fire kind of burning around there from the forest management. Big thing is there, despite the fact we've had all this rain, there may still be hot spots. So, of course, they're still going to be monitoring that. And then even back towards Clinch County and all the wildfires we have here across the first coast. But this just exceptional amount of precipitation over the course of the last 24 hours, definitely going a long way in helping out. So there's a look outside. Actually, I think this is on I-95. Traffic's going along. Looks like a lot of the rain is kind of tapering off, and very good air quality across the first coast today, just because of the kind of this freshness in the air, and it smells like rain. And I'll come back to that in a few minutes. We'll talk about that. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about it right now. It smells like rain. I put that in the headlines. You might be thinking, what is he talking about? I mean, you got these great images out here. People have been sending into our First Coast News weather watchers, and you can almost smell what's in the air there. That very distinct post rain. Went for a nice walk this morning, and you could smell it. Did you know? This is really gonna crack you up at home, but it's actually kind of bacteria farts. Yep, there you go. Geosim. It's basically when bacteria gets wet, a lot of it produces spores. That specific type of bacteria, it secretes geosim and releases it into the air to get the kind of that earthly smell. Also, a lot of plants, especially after it has not rained for a while. It causes the compounds to be released in the air. That's called petiture. And if there's lightning, even ozone can smell too. But what a lot of you on the First Coast are probably smelling today as you go outside, you smell that freshness in the air. It's that bacteria being releasing spores into the air right after of some decent rainfall. I thought that was a little interesting, a little tidbit, because that was one of the most observant things I noticed this morning when stepping outside is as the rain tapered off, it is still has that very strong smell in the air here, and yeah, it can be very potent, but yeah, it's actually a specific type of bacteria. So now you know. More rain still possible here on our Wednesday, high of 79 degrees. Very damp conditions, some morning showers, and then again into the afternoon, we can see some coastal stuff out there. Just isolated though, and we can even see that here. Let's go ahead and loop it through the future cast. And through the morning, we had some precip along the coast. That low offshore just starts to slowly pull away. You can see some afternoon showers trying to pop off out there, but then things really do clear out heading into Thursday. And Thursday's looking pretty nice here on the First Coast. We're going to be warming up, a lot hotter conditions, maybe some afternoon clouds here on our Friday, but that's about it. So following this days of rainfall, much needed rainfall, we're going to get into a much drier weather pattern here on the First Coast. Thursday, Friday, fairly dry. Saturday, Sunday, could see some rain towards the south, but it's very limited and few and far between. So just in general, definitely improving conditions. And we can even see that here in the broader view of our future cast. That low offshore that was bringing us all that rainfall is going to kick off towards the northeast. Might even go a little kind of hybrid subtropical as opposed there towards the east and out to sea. High pressure ridge is in behind that, so heading in through Friday, still staying dry. You notice on Saturday and Sunday that high moves towards the east though, and that's what we're talking about. See the rain kind of kicking off there into southern area, central and southern areas of Florida. That's that moisture kind of getting pumped inshore around the southern side of that high pressure. And you still see that's going to be the case even heading into the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. We can see a general increase in precipitation there. So right now, rain's tapering off here on our Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, we're looking at mostly sunny skies. And then by Saturday, heading into Sunday, yeah, it's going to heat up as those winds start to come in out of the south. And it's not until Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week that we start to see some slight chances of rainfall returning to the picture here on the First Coast, which, like I mentioned, despite the fact we have got plenty of precipitation over the last few days, we are still in a serious drought. This graphic will be updated tomorrow. We'll see how much is knocked down. Hopefully we're out of the exceptional drought stage for a lot of the area, but I think that it's still going to be at least moderate to severe across the First Coast, despite the fact we've had so much rainfall here over the last few days. So with that said, let's talk about the broader scope of things. I mentioned lightning. We'll talk more about that here in just a minute. Right now, though, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right.
That is the Protector.
This truck is a beast.
It's got all the tools on it. I love how big the tires are.
And this is going to be able to show you the weather around the First Coast like you've never seen it before.
The Protector really is going to help protect the community.
So you can see what it looks like on the ground. And that allows folks to really take action and do something about it.
And it gives us that edge in continuing to be the most accurate weather team.
Sponsored by HananiahAutos.com.
I'm Keitha Nelson. Good morning, Jacksonville anchor and mom of twins, Journey and Trey. I'm on your side, getting you out the door and off to a great start. Make the move to Good Morning Jacksonville on First Coast News. Weekdays from 4:30 to 9, anywhere you watch.
First Coast Living Live.
Bringing you closer to the tastiest food.
The best shopping.
And family fun.
Woo!
Jordan Wilkerson and David Benfield. First Coast Living Live. Weekdays at 11 a.m. only on NBC 12.
We have new details about a heavy police presence in Jacksonville Beach.
Driver fired gunshots along the interstate today, prompting a police chase.
Stream extended coverage on First Coast News Plus.
The First Coast News weather team is here to deliver your most accurate forecast with weather impact alerts to warn you about severe weather and up-to-the-minute information on First Coast News Plus.
The wave of moisture rolls its way on in here.
Our team is the most equipped and experienced to help you prepare and keep you safe.
The First Coast News weather team is always on your side. Stream extended coverage on First Coast News Plus.
My mission is to help you get to where you're going safely. Whether it's helping you beat the backup on 95 or navigating the slowdown on JTB, we've got you covered. Make the move to Good Morning Jacksonville on First Coast News. Weekdays live from 4:30 to 9, anywhere you watch.
Well, welcome back. So let's talk about lightning. And I know with all the storms we've been seeing across the First Coast the last few days, we've had plenty of lightning in the area. Occasionally you hear that low rumble out there. And it can be quite dangerous. In fact, take a look at this graphic here. So lightning deaths across the United States, kind of looking at what areas are the more likely chances of getting hit by lightning. A lot of it's standing under a tree, on a roof, in the water, or fishing. And fishing is one of those that on a boat or even next to a pond, people sometimes get caught because you're kind of in a clearing. Usually it's not wooded right along a water edge. And even if you are next to trees, obviously you can see right here, people try to take shelter under trees. So it can be quite dangerous. What am I getting to here? Well, in Texas, there was a teenager who was hit by lightning and survived. And he talked about what it was like. So let's talk to him out here in Texas.
I'm lucky to be able to do anything at all. Don't know how I lived.
On Saturday, Hunter Weish went fishing with his mom for Mother's Day weekend when the weather quickly took a turn.
I was trying to get out of the rain a little bit and lightning struck. Blew me back 5 feet or so and hit my back on a tree.
It traveled through the tree, his fishing pole, and into him.
I blacked out and my whole body went completely stiff. I was in shock, ironically.
Hunter's mother, Michelle, saw it all happen.
I told him, well, if it starts thundering, we need to go in. And as soon as that happened, it was like an explosion. It's like a big light, and it sounded like a bomb went off.
I couldn't feel my legs when I come back to. I couldn't move my right foot. I could barely move my right leg. The strike went in kind of through my stomach around here and went all the way down through my leg and come back up through the top of my foot.
Michelle called 911. Chief James Gunter with Beech Grove Volunteer Fire Department was one of the first responders to arrive on scene.
Fully expecting the worst and very pleased to find the best.
He said it was a welcome surprise to find Hunter cracking jokes and in good spirits, but something stuck out to him.
Looking at the tree after the fact, the tree has been struck by lightning before, and the tree was dead from the previous lightning strike. So the old adage of lightning never strikes twice in the same place, you can throw that out the window.
As for Hunter, he's still feeling some lingering effects.
My bones in my right leg are real weak. My hip, my knee, my foot, just a lot of weakness. I'm probably the unluckiest lucky man alive to come out the way I did.
He says he'll continue to stay loyal to his fishing spot.
Couldn't happen a third time.
No matter what.
Good fishing spot, what can I say?
Meanwhile, Michelle says she's happy to see her son continue to do what he loves.
That's the most wonderful sight right there.
Pretty incredible story there. Wow. And the fact, you know what? I'm still going to go fishing. Why not? Yeah, I'm happy it's recovering. Incredible story there. But let's use this as a lesson, and with lightning safety, because lightning often does find the path that is of least resistance. So if you're outside, head indoors, stay away from trees, as we just showed in that last graphic, and also stay away from corded electrical devices, plumbing, which is kind of interesting, windows, just off of porches, inside, away from some of that stuff. It's smart when you're inside. Yeah, if you hear thunder, you can be hit by lightning. I think that's one thing that we've said so many times over again. Those bolts from the blue, as we've often talked about because lightning can strike up to 10 to 15 miles away from a storm. And a lot of times when they strike like that and they come from the top of the cloud, that's a positive lightning bolt. Those are a lot more powerful than the negative bolts at the base of the cloud too, which I'm going to talk more about what exactly that means here in just a second. But yeah, positive lightning, negative lightning, there you go. You have it right there. So what does that mean? Well, let's talk about how lightning forms up. So if we're talking about the anatomy of lightning, basically what happens is you get the electrons in the atmosphere separated within the cloud and the stuff at the surface. Negative electrons start to form up at the base of the cloud, positives near the surface. And then you get a leader that starts to work its way down towards the ground. This is the point when people are talking about, if you're ever standing outside, like right here, if you're ever standing outside and you start seeing your hair stand up, or you're, like you get into goosebumps or anything like that, you're probably in this phase right here, and you're in a very dangerous situation because the electrons in the cloud are trying to connect to the electrons at the surface. And if they find that connection, obviously you get a lightning strike. So you get the return stroke traveling at 60,000 miles per second. That's what produces the lightning strike. And the process can repeat a few times as long as, they're still trying to even out the electrons in the atmosphere here. So all of this, by the way, takes less than a second, leading from the initial kind of leader setting up to the actual strike itself. Prior to that, that's when it's trying to find kind of your the path and everything. And that's when you'll notice it if you're in an electrical field. If you ever see your hair standing up outside or anything like that, drop to the ground immediately and then try to get inside and get some shelter real quick. So yeah, cloud to cloud type lightning is very common. Cloud to ground or ground to cloud, which is kind of that reversal, is quite rare. Cloud to sky, occasionally you'll see that. But I think the one that we're talking about here is on the right. That cloud to ground positive lightning is quite uncommon. And I think that's what happened with that gentleman hit by that lightning strike and still able to survive. Pretty incredible stuff right there. But those are the bolts from the blue, as we often talk about, and pretty wild stuff there. So yeah, once again, that goes back to, if you find yourself outside, you hear thunder, make sure you head indoors. All right, so let's talk about the tropics too. It is still May 13th here today, 2026. You know what's happening in 2 days though. 16 days is June 1st, the start of hurricane season here in the Atlantic Ocean. But in 2 days is the start of the NHC issuing their tropical weather advisories. And basically at this point, there's nothing out there. So they'll probably say something along the lines of, there's nothing to watch, maybe note some tropical waves or anything, but that's about it. Sea surface temperatures, all of that stuff. One thing we do have though is this same low pressure area that I've been talking about, off of the East Coast, kind of forming along a stationary boundary. This is very typical for the month of May. And a lot of times we'll get a low that forms out of the Gulf, just like you see here, and then it'll roll up, and then it'll roll off towards the north like that, and it could go subtropical. And I kind of hinted at that a few minutes ago when I was talking about what was happening here on the First Coast, and you can kind of see that here. Look at our low. Watch as it runs towards the north and kind of wraps up off of the East Coast of the Carolinas. Does that mean we're going to have a tropical storm? No, but it kind of alludes to the fact that here in the month of May, we do get this type of setup. And this is a very, very clear example of just that. I mean, just zooming right in on this is where a lot of the storms do tend to form up. 32, in fact, in the month of May since 1851, but a lot of them seem to be clustered off of the east coast of Florida, south of the Carolinas, and that's where you get a lot of tropical cyclone development here in your early season type storm systems. Of course, this peaks in September when we're actually in the heart of a hurricane season. We're not quite there yet, but yeah, it's definitely the start, and you're kind of seeing those initial signs of tropical season. So we're going to recap the rain here one more time in just a few moments. But right now, let's go back to another break. When we come back, let's still talk about all this precipitation we'll be seeing here across the First Coast.
The First Coast News Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Had the umbrella in the back seat, the rain jacket ready to go.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
Let's get some breaking news we've been following overnight.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. First Coast News Plus, complete coverage of your local news, weather, and more.
We have new details about a heavy police presence in Jacksonville Beach.
Driver fired gunshots along the interstate today, prompting a police chase.
Breaking overnight, police are investigating an officer-involved shooting.
Breaking news, a major crash on I-95.
Routine controlled burn got out of control. First Coast News was the only station there.
Stream extended coverage on First Coast News Plus.
For 15 years, I've lived and breathed Jacksonville weather here at First Coast News. From stepping out in the midst of hurricanes to just delivering your daily forecast, I take it seriously because weather can impact your safety, but it also impacts your everyday life. So my job is to make it easy to understand so that you're prepared. I'm Lewis Turner, and as Chief Meteorologist here at First Coast News, it is my honor to be on your side.
Get your latest forecast on First Coast News Plus. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with First Coast News and First Coast News Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage with First Coast News and First Coast News Plus.
The First Coast News weather team has your most accurate forecast with weather impact alerts to warn you about severe weather. Our team is here to help you prepare and keep you safe.
The First Coast News weather team is always on your side. Stream extended coverage on First Coast News Plus.
So this graphic right here, and welcome back, this graphic right here really gives you a good idea of what we're talking about. So this right here shows you the total amount of rainfall on the First Coast prior to this rain event we've had over the last few days. About 6.5, almost 7 inches. Then we take a look at the rain totals over the last 24 hours alone in the Nassau County, all the way out here towards Kingsland, even into parts like Brunswick, Jekyll Island. There are spots that we've seen 3 to 5, nearly 6 inches. So in the last 24 hours, so from Tuesday over towards Wednesday, we have nearly doubled our total amount of rainfall on the First Coast. Absolutely incredible amount of precipitation. And as I mentioned, much needed rain. We are going to start to back off a little bit here. As you see with my favorite graphic I love to use, this is Puddle Ducky. Yeah, still got chances of rain, some scattered showers here on Wednesday, but on Thursday it backs off quite significantly and kind of goes down to the point where we're not going to be seeing much of anything Thursday over towards Friday. So a little bit of a break following all of this precipitation we've seen here on the First Coast. And once again, it goes back to a little area of low pressure starting to develop off of the East Coast, pumping that moisture onshore and pretty persistent with still flood advisories across parts of Southeast Georgia because of this training effect. And this is what we're talking about. And when I say training, you just kind of look at this. This is a 24-hour loop, all right? So 24 hours from Tuesday heading into Wednesday here. And it just watch this area right about there. The rain more or less does not stop. Now, today here on our Wednesday, we are finally starting to dry out, but you can see just the consistent nature of it. One round after another, and this is what we talk about training. So training is basically, think of a train. You get one car after another on a train track. That's what we're talking about here. It's just one round after another. And those can result in some pretty significant rain totals. Now, the good news, the last few frames, we're starting to see it kind of taper off a little bit. I say good news. You still need the rain, but we still have flood advisories in place. So, yeah. And if we take a look at the Futurecast one more time here, you can kind of get a good grasp of what I'm talking about with those rain totals beginning to taper off. And then we get those drier conditions as we go ahead through our day here on Thursday, heading over towards Friday and even into Saturday, still staying on the drier side. So a little bit of both worlds here with that precipitation over the last few days, and we start to dry out. out. So if you got any big plans through the mid and latter part of the upcoming weekend, yeah, you should be able to get away with them. If you're going to be heading out and about, maybe you want to go out to this concert right here, the Morgan Wallen concert. That is in Gainesville. Partly cloudy skies, temperatures into the mid 80s heading into the weekend. But good news, I think all across the First Coast, we're going to be A-okay even heading into the weekend until about the early part of next week out here. So lots to talk about on the First Coast. I think I'm really looking forward to Weather Impact Live here tomorrow on our Thursday, because we will get that latest update on the drought. So hopefully there is some significant improvements as far as our drought conditions are concerned. But for the rest of your Wednesday, I hope you get out there and enjoy it with that chance of rain, but really starting to taper off. It's still cloudy, very humid, still very dreary, but definitely some vastly improving conditions as we go ahead over the course of the next few days. So, of course, I am meteorologist Robert Speta. We're going to be back at 4:30 with Weather Impact Live with our chief meteorologist Lewis Turner, as well as at 5, 6, 7, and 11. If you watch this, I mean, you must really like the weather. There's a lot to talk about here today, and I try my best to kind of go through on a 30-minute broadcast and kind of give you little snippets. Tomorrow's Weather Impact Live, I have some games that I'm going to play with our meteorologist Lee Southwick here, so I look forward to that. So make sure you stop by tomorrow. I think it's going to be a fun show. All right, thanks for watching, and stay dry out there, friends.